With the addition of Faizon Brandon, the number one quarterback in the 2026 class, Josh Heupel has proven that he is a great recruiter. Not good, but great. Tell me I'm wrong, Caleb.
So just to add this out, because I want to make sure people who weren't paying attention over the weekend, Tennessee added Faizon Brandon, the number one prospect on 247 for 2026 at quarterback over the weekend. He's the number 3 ranked quarterback in 247 Sports Composite. So a little bit debatable, but either way, huge pickup. Josh Heupel is a great recruiter at certain positions, but not because of his recruiting ability, because of his coaching, because of the system he runs. Josh Heupel is a desirable place for any quarterback in the country to go to. He's going to have his pick of the litter at that position for a long time. The same way Lincoln Riley has had his pick of the litter at that position for a long time. So I think in that regard, Josh Heupel is Josh Heupel's system as a coach makes him a great recruiter. I've told you guys there's 3 positions where Tennessee's not like Alabama under Nick Saban, where literally everywhere on the field players would take a discount to go play for Nick Saban. Josh Heupel, there's not a Heupel discount at every position, but there is at 3 positions specifically: quarterback, wide receiver, and edge rusher. Players will take less money to go play in Josh Heupel's system at those 3 positions because they know he will make them look great, which will help their NIL and also help their NFL draft standing. So it's totally worth it for Faizon Brandon to go to Tennessee, but that does not lessen the impact of this pickup. Faizon Brandon is a huge pickup for Tennessee and sets them up at quarterback. We can say this safely: they're not going to have any concerns at quarterback for the next 7 years.
No, I think that's very safe. As a matter of fact, I think that's almost conservative. I think Josh Heupel is a great recruiter. You gave me 3 positions he's a great recruiter in, right? I'm going to add another one, and I think that will solidify my argument that he's a great recruiter. And I realize that most of you are just hoping for good recruiter, right, Caleb? That
Correct.
Most people are hoping that Josh Heupel is a good recruiter and a great coach. We've seen he's a great coach. You're just hoping for good recruiter. Well, I'm here to tell you he can be a great recruiter, and I said that last week. I'm going to tell you why I still believe that, because I think there's another position that Josh Heupel will have an advantage over other coaches in recruiting, as the program represented by Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, play to win. I'll tell you what that position is in 30 seconds. Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks and Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks and Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks and Jones. T. Scott Jones. BanksandJones.com. All right, so you're giving me quarterback, wide receiver, edge rusher. I'm going to take another position that I think Tennessee has an advantage over other coaches because of what they've done under Josh Heupel, and that's offensive tackle. Darnell Wright, what they turned him into. And I'll take it a step further, offensive line. Cooper Mays was undersized. I think that when you talk about when you talk about Tennessee's ability to recruit the top positions, it's always going to be quarterback. It's always going to be Faizon when we talk about those positions. But here's the great part about that position, Caleb. That position can bring in more players, especially from a place like Carolina that we've talked about being important for Tennessee recruiting.
So I can't say yet that there's proof that players or offensive linemen are taking discounts to go play for Josh Heupel. I just haven't seen that. That doesn't mean they're not getting great offensive linemen. I think they are, but I haven't seen anything to suggest that offensive linemen are getting offered. Put it this way. I don't think Georgia can come in and offer an offensive lineman more money and Tennessee still get that offensive lineman because that lineman says, I want to go play for Tennessee.
I'm not even saying a discount necessarily. I'm just saying a yes. If Georgia and Tennessee offer the same thing, that they're on a level playing field, I believe that. Would you disagree with that?
I would totally disagree with that. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. I think there are enough offensive linemen in the South, whereas yes, they could lose a battle for a 4 or 5 star, but they could as easily win a battle for a 4 or 5 star to go to Georgia.
Okay.
Listen, I think, and let's not look at this through a periscope. Okay, Georgia's got their issues, right? I mean,
Yes,
if I'm
I
a
agree.
parent, I'm very concerned about them going there, so I'm factoring that into my stance as well.
That's fair. And I think Tennessee could get some. I don't think they're level with Georgia. I think they can get good offensive linemen. I still don't think they're level with Georgia yet. Someone brought up on the message board, and I'm trying to confirm if this is true right now as we speak, but that Faizon Brandon is actually from the same hometown, Davis Hendon Hooker. And he is. They're both from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yep,
Do you think that played a role?
I think it played a significant role. And I looked at the Carolinas and especially South Carolina right now, it appears as if Clemson is having a bit of a renaissance in recruiting in that class and in this class. However, the big one's going to be David Sanders. If David Sanders from Carolina ends up at Tennessee, you have to look at Faizon and think that was a factor, right?
Yes, I think so. The same way it was for George McIntyre getting a lot of in-state guys too, with the way he's been recruiting. I think David Sanders could be. I think George McIntyre could be the guy that gets David Sanders, though. Either way, I mean, maybe this is a topic for another day, but the real question becomes: assuming Merklinger and Taven Jackson Taven Jackson already transferred. Sorry, assuming Merklinger is the odd man out, who would you put your money on to succeed Nico Iamaleava at this point, Dave? In 2026, Faizon Brandon or George McIntyre? That's going to be a competition.
I'm going to go with the traditional thinking, and I'm going to go with Merklinger.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he'll have time in the system. Now, if he transfers after the season, it means that he doesn't feel like he can fit and he could slip. So I'll take the guy who's in-house first. That's the safe bet.